Lisa, and this is my channel, Mindful Dinosaur. Welcome back to my channel. Unless you're new here, then welcome. So today I'm going to do more of a serious video. I'm going to be talking about things in eating disorder symptoms that no one really talks about, kind of like the really unappealing things, because I know a lot of people don't really have this knowledge or haven't heard it, so I'm going to be kind of getting into that. So this I'm basing off of my personal eating disorder, which is anorexia. So I'm not speaking for any other kind of eating disorder because I don't have enough knowledge in that area, so I'm going to kind of be doing it in anorexia with my personal experience. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it because I've been talking for a long time. One of the things is yellow teeth, which it can come from both self-starvation and purging. More of purging because it ruins the enamel and it can just like cause yellowing teeth or like darker teeth. It can even cause teeth to fall out, which is definitely really terrible, and teeth are really expensive to replace. Another thing is lowered self-esteem. Like, you think, oh yeah, well, eating disorders, I would feel better if I was thinner, but I know it would. I hear things like, it makes you feel terrible, but it really does. It really lowers your self-esteem. You always feel like the number on the scale is never small enough. You always have to keep going. You never really see yourself as who you are. You have body dysmorphia, so you don't actually see what you really look like, not the way other people see you, so it's always a distorted image of yourself. And then another thing is loss of trust. If you are living at home with your parents or family members or spouse or kids, and you start acting on symptoms and they notice, then they are going to put more lockdowns on you, or they just basically won't trust you in general, which can be really hard because having freedom is very important. Like, at least to me, independence is really important to me. So when I lose trust, I feel so guilty, and people start watching me more, and it's just kind of frustrating being in that situation. And then another thing is, so I'm sure you've heard hair loss comes with eating disorders, but actually, in my experience and a bunch of other people's experience, they have more hair loss in the beginning of recovery than they actually did while they were in the depths of their eating disorder. I'm actually not exactly sure why, but yeah, so that seems to have happened to me at least. I've seen other YouTubers say that it happened to them too, so that's definitely one of the things that most people don't really know. And then another thing is extreme bloating. Like, once you start eating again, your belly gets pretty big. It does eventually go away within like a few months to a year. I know it seems like a long time, but it's worth it because once you get past it, your body will be normal. Of course, there'll be like normal bloating, everyday bloating, but it'll be much more normal. Right now, I'm doing pretty good with bloating. I've had a lot of time passed since I acted on symptoms, so yeah, but once you start eating again in the beginning of recovery, your belly just goes like. And then another thing is face swelling. So there's two different-ish reasons that I know of that can cause face swelling. So if you have restricted for a long period of time and had weight loss, once you start eating, your cheeks can puff up a little bit. It does go away, I promise it goes away. Or if you're purging, your face can swell up, your cheeks will swell up, your glands get bigger, which is really annoying, of course. So another reason not to purge, another reason not to restrict, because these things are really annoying and they can make you feel like you've gained a lot of weight even though you haven't. It's just swelling in your face. And then another thing is ankle swelling. I, again, don't really know why this happens, but after restricting for a while, like, your ankles will just kind of swell up. It's really uncomfortable and it looks really weird. That's something that no one really talks about, so yeah. And then another one, oh my god, is, I'm sorry, TMI, but constipation. If you're not eating enough, there's nothing to push anything through, so you get bloated and it's really uncomfortable, and Usually you're not allowed to take laxatives at like eating disorder hospitals because they can be used for ED symptoms. So you're stuck with constipation, and it's just, I hate it. Yeah, so that's really a big one. So another one is having brittle nails. Your nails will break off or they'll become yellow. And then another one is having hair all over your body, little fuzzy hairs. This is when you're really underweight, which I experienced before the first time I went to the hospital. It's to keep your body warm because you get so cold. Like, you're cold all the time, so your body has to produce little hairs to just stay warm. Your body is trying to keep you alive, even though you're trying to not, I guess. So another one that goes along with purging is so you can have blood in your vomit, which could either mean like you have a scratch in your throat, or worst case scenario, it could be a tear in your esophagus, which is really bad. You'd need to go to the ER for that. Yeah, so purging is very dangerous. If you notice blood in your vomit, it's definitely a big red flag. I mean, purging is obviously a big red flag, but when there's blood in the vomit, you definitely need to go get help immediately. So another thing is yellowing of skin. There's something with lack of nutrients that causes yellowing of skin, so it's really, it just looks weird. Like, it's uncomfortable. You won't like the way you look. I mean, yeah. And then another one, more of a social side. You lose touch with friends and family. You usually isolate, you push people away, all to protect your eating disorder, because your eating disorder is the most important thing in your life when you're in the depths of it. So you don't have time for friends or family or fun or doing the things you love. You have a loss of interest in your favorite things and hobbies, the things that you used to love to do. No more fun, no more interest in things like that. And then another thing is, if you are severely underweight or recovering and need to gain weight, so you could be put on bed rest where you can't move, and eventually if you're not in that situation, then you probably just wouldn't be allowed to exercise, so you have to sit down, you won't be allowed to move. You'll just kind of feel sluggish, I guess. Eventually you will be able to exercise. When you can start exercising is when your treatment team clears you to. So don't just think that you can. Make sure you talk to your treatment team beforehand, because they know it's best for you. And then another one is night sweats. So once you start eating again, your metabolism speeds up really fast. So when you wake up in the morning, you're like covered in sweat. I remember when I was at a hotel one time, I woke up in the morning and my clothes were drenched, like literally drenched with sweat. And that happened for like a whole month after I started eating again. So that was kind of uncomfortable. But yeah, your metabolism speeds up really fast right after you start eating after restricting again. And then another thing is suicidal thoughts and self-harm urges. You may feel hopeless or like you just don't want to continue living with like what you're going through because you feel like you can't stop, or you just want to feel something different, or you don't want to feel something at all. So these are very serious things that do come along with eating disorders sometimes. And then there's things with school where you may be falling behind in school, or you may be getting bad grades. You may even get held back because you put all your focus in your eating disorder, so you don't have time to study. You don't have really, so your brain is foggy. You have brain fog, and you can't really think about things like school or math or just like doing work in general, because you're so focused, and because you have brain fog. It's a serious side effect of eating disorders, but eventually your interests and your thinking will become normal again further down in recovery. So yeah, those are some of the side effects that I have personally experienced. Make sure to let me know if you have experienced any different ones or you relate to any of these ones in the comments down below. So I hope this may have been informational for you, because I know I wish I would have heard these things before I really started restricting because these are very serious and scary side effects. So yeah, make sure to subscribe and tell your friends about my channel. Turn on the notification bell to see when I post again. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!